All praise to the Most High and Yahweh Shah bless. Good to see y'all. Shabbat Shalom to y'all, Israel. We're about to get into a lesson, the Greco-Roman Battle, 65 through 70 AD. We're going to go over a lot of history here, so it's going to be some things that are not in your Bible. And we're going to be also coming out of this book here, the Holman Bible Atlas. It's going to be one of our references. And we also going to be using From Babylon to Timbuktu, which is another one of our references we're going to be using. So I don't know if y'all have the Babylon to Timbuktu. Do you have the next one? Or you got that one right there? Go ahead and let Brother Justin
Now, I'm going to read it for you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to need this then. I can just start on that page right there, but we ain't going to get into it just yet. Okay. Let's get started. And I'll give y'all one little precept before we start, before I jump into the class. Let's go to John 8 and 3. Some of y'all don't even need to open your book up to the email. I already know what to do. 8 and 32, I'm sorry. It's a lot.
The book of John, chapter 8, and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
And see, after this, we're going to know the truth, and the truth going to set us free. That's knowing all of God's laws, statutes, and commandments, and knowing our history that we had to go through, because a lot of times when we don't know our history, all we know is y'all came from Africa. And it stops at that. But then anytime we try to ask about anything before that, nobody knows what tribe, where we was at, none of that. All we know, we was in West Africa. It's quite a few countries on the West African coast. In fact, I got some more history got to bring out too later on. But let's start off Luke chapter 19 and start at verse 36. We're going to get some prophecies of the things that were to come about this battle that we had with the Romans. Go ahead when you get there.
The book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 36. And as he went, they spread their clothes in the way. And when he was come nigh, even now at the descent of the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of the disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice for all the mighty works that they had seen, saying, Blessed be the King that cometh in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest. And some of the Pharisees from among the multitude said unto him, Master, rebuke thy disciples.
That's funny. Pharisees like, man, hold on, they don't. You should be rebuking them. Because because of what they doing, they giving praise to the Most High for his son that just came down. They were like, no, you should be rebuking him. They lifting you up. Go ahead.
Verse 40. And he answered and said unto them, I tell you that if these should hold their peace, the stones which immediately cry out.
So don't be holding your peace, because if you holding your peace by praising the Most High, guess what? It's a rock to take your place. That's the Most High. The stones will cry out. It's something there to take your place. So you better get in line and start giving praise to the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
And did what?
And wept over it.
When people say that scripture, Jesus wept. Why did Yahweh weep? He wept because of the fact of the matter, he's seen the future of what was going to become of Israel. He's seen that the people were not gonna obey these law, statutes, and commandments, and they're gonna have to suffer these curses that's gonna come upon them.
Yeah. Also, that he's like I'm saying, like I was bringing out, he's seen that we was gonna be discontinued from our heritage. He's seen that we was gonna go into the Atlantic slave trade. He's seen all the death and destruction that was gonna come upon our people, and he's seen that how it's gonna be a long time before it come back.
Yes.
Before that gets back. So yeah, it's gonna be that make you weak.
There's gonna be a lot of destruction to Israel. for our past sins, and the one he was talking about, the ones he knew they was gonna not come back, because he came right now and was giving them a chance to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. But we know at this time they refused, even in the future after this. They were still refusing. And he already seen, hey, they ain't gonna do right. They ain't gonna do right, but he will. He will. So people be talking about sometimes, you know, the Most High gave us feelings sometimes where we feel things that we will weep. It's not to be going and making judgments off our feelings and stuck in our feelings, but at the same time, yeah, he gave us tears to cry. Otherwise, nobody would cry. He made us in the image of him, so those feelings, he still got them. But the fact of the matter, we shouldn't be living by those feelings. We should be living by his word.
That's right.
Well, go ahead.
Verse 42, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes.
He said, but now they are hidden from thy eyes. He's telling you what's going to happen. Even though right now, y'all loving, y'all praising God right now, but those things that's going to come, they hidden from y'all eyes. They hidden from y'all eyes. Read.
Verse 43, for the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
He said, man, they're gonna surround the whole city of Jerusalem and put a trench and sit up there and keep you in. You ain't gonna be able to get out and get no resources. They finna come on y'all. Read.
Verse 44, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another.
Man, Jerusalem finna come down. That's what he telling me. It's finna fall. It's finna come down.
And that's a key point that a lot of times we miss too. Let me read that again. And they shall not leave thee one stone upon another. Meaning that where they worshiping that now, that's what they was rebuilt during the time of Herod.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you go ahead, because I wanted to get to that too. And I ain't have it down, but I wanted to talk about that.
And that's what Christ is letting us know. That's not our temple, man. So all they doing is profaning the name, doing all that. How you know what they be doing, goosing the wall, so to speak, man. Like, that ain't our temple, man.
And that's what happened too, because Solomon had built the temple. All right, Herod became king, decided we're gonna rebuild the temple, and he started trying to outdo what we had done, the King Solomon. So, and that's when and you had the disciples taking Christ up there. Well, look at these walls, they all nice, man. Look at all this stuff. It's gold walls. They used to say that the city that Herod built looked like what would they say? A mountain with snow covered on it, because where that wasn't gold, they had white stones on them. So that's what they said. They looked like a mountain covered with the tops of snow. And that's when they were showing you how look at the temple, you know what I'm saying? But this ain't the temple of the Yahweh, looking like, man, this ain't nothing. And remember, they was getting upset when he was telling them, man, I'm gonna knock this temple down and rebuild it in 3 days. That's what they were, man, do what? And you know, you had think about it. You had Pharisees and Sadducees. One of the reasons that they were loving what they had a rebuilt temple, everything. I got everything in mine brand new. And then you hear this man come and say, I'm gonna knock this down. What? You gonna take my money and knock this down? That's like right now, if you go to TD Jakes right now and go over there and say, man, I'm gonna knock this Potter house down and we gonna rebuild it in 3 days. Well, he gonna get him out of security.
No, everybody in there will be like trying to get in.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation.
And that visitation is not right. Is not at the time when he's coming back. This is the time when visitation, because he's gonna visit Israel, and he's talking about that visitation when he come back in Israel, and it's gonna be the destruction for what he wept for. Read
verse 45. And he went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold therein, and them that bought.
And then they was all, you know, because the temple, even though this temple was grand and beautiful, it done turned into like a corner store. It's like, it looked like it's a Big T Bazaar now. They in there buying and selling everything up in there. You know, it became a show, just like what you got now. Like when I heard, what is that place? Over in Dallas, not Fellowship of what's the one to be on?
Friendship West.
Friendship West got robbed. And the other one down the street from it, with Lovius Murray's, they got robbed. $20,000 watches up in there. I'm trying to think, what is y'all in this? Man, who y'all got coming up in here buying $20,000 watches? This at the front counter. They got stores up in there. And then when you go to I used to go to these big old churches, man, and I'm talking about coffee machine. I mean, like what you call it? What's some coffee places? Starbucks up in the thing. Donut shops. I mean, everything up in here. I'm like, man, golly, what kind of... At this time, I was in the world, so I was thinking, boy, this tight, this is what I need. This nice church right here. Not knowing, boy, the Most High really strike that church down. I'm glad I got out of there. And not only that, when I did leave one of them, they wind up going out of business. And that whole big old church, and when I tell you, this was a huge church. So much room, they didn't even know what to do with some of the stuff. But it closed down after that. Go ahead. Where you at?
Verse 46.
Yeah.
Saying unto them, it is written, my house is the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves.
And everybody in there, they ain't doing nothing but getting over. Just like America do when they got their stores in it. Like I said, they selling $20,000 watches up there, they probably bought for $1,000. Getting over on our people. That's all our people do. They get in this American system and think they gotta have a store just like the white man. No, if you got it, don't try to get rich off of it, but give it where your people gets comfortable to make some money off of it. But they done turned this into a store. Getting over, den of thieves. That means they stealing. They overpricing everything. Let's go to Luke 21:20. Just go down to the next chapter.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Hey, and he's telling you, hey, when this started to happen, when all this stuff, when they come and put that trench around you and they start seeing that army, oh, this stuff desolation is about to occur. Y'all can fight all y'all want, but it's about to occur. It's gonna go down. Y'all can do all the praying you want. I already see it. That's why he will. I see what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Flee to the mountains. The mountains was south of us. Even though you had them further north up in Samaria, he was talking about flee to the mountain. And in fact, when you look at the history at the time, some of the Christians and Pharisees fled up north. And that's another subject, but I'm not going to get on that today. But he's telling us flee to the mountain, which we always fled to the mountain, which the mountain was south of us in Jerusalem. Right there in Jerusalem. And I'm going to show you because they attacked. They had military on the border, on the southern border, but they attacked on the northern border because that was our weakest point. So for us to even try to escape north, we would have been slaughtered. We'd have got slaughtered.
Even in the time of Christ, when he was a child, they had to flee to the mountains too. The same way.
Egypt.
Go to Matthew 2 and 13 right quick.
Okay.
Go get that. I'll go up a little bit more. Get the context of it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 11. And when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him.
That's your house shall read.
And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
They presented Yahushua with gifts, man, as a baby. Read.
And that's also taken down the lies. Nowhere in there do you see three wise men. You know, you have to be careful on that, man. They gave 3 presents, but they never said 3 wise men.
And not only that, they talking about the present. That wasn't for his birthday, because you got to understand that when they got there, the child was already born, man. And it's a long time ago. The little boy, they ain't about to start crawling right now, man. And then they got there, man. They didn't know yet. Oh, happy belated birthday, my bad.
Yeah. That's your house, he probably already had teeth.
They were just giving gifts because they know he was a king. He was a Messiah, you know that. Came running about it.
Verse 12. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
Into where?
Into Egypt.
Go ahead.
And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
There you go. They had to flee same place. That's the same thing even when they hid when Moses was hid. They hid him right there with the Pharaoh's key here.
Exactly.
Hid him right there.
And they did that so he could be blended in with amongst the other dark nations. You know, letting you know that the Hamites, the real Hamites, are dark skinned too.
That's like Ray Caruth. How you think they caught Ray Caruth so fast? All the places in America he could have ran out, he did that crime. That mother go to Nashville, Tennessee. Well, they know I'm in the heaven of white folks there, and they try to hide. That's why he was in the trunk, because he know darn well if he was walking around there he is. There's only 4 black people here, so that's got to be one of them. Go ahead. Go back to, that's all we need. Go back.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Flee to where?
Flee to the mountains.
Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Man, when y'all leaving and you see the other people coming back that way, hey, tell them, don't go there. Don't go back up there, man. That mug up there blowing up stuff. They setting off bombs. They doing what the United States do today at every other country. And then you got refugees. That's what you got, refugees fleeing all over the place. And then they blaming it on ISIS. Those names you only hear because that's what the country do. We got to find somebody to blame it on, but why it's us that's blowing it up. And the United States going in, tearing up every place. They blame it on ISIS, blame it on what's the other group that was before them? What is it?
What is that group? Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show y'all something about ISIS. Y'all see this? The dollar symbol. You can read it. What that look like? That's ISIS.
And actually, ISIS actually came from Israel's secret service, just like the FBI. That's what that was. So apparently, they gave it a name. Boy, see, we dealing with people that's not smart.
They not.
They're base people. And they leave so many clues, but they think they just brilliant.
They can do it.
They figure that. And then what's so bad about it, when they tricked us, they think it was them. But it was the Most High that had us like this. He told us we were going to lose who we were. He was just using them to do it. Then they thinking they done got pride. Yeah. See how smart we are? No, I know how. See how dumb y'all are when you really look at it and examine it. When you get them into this truth, you start realizing everything.
See, the thing is, they only thing that they are better than us is being wicked.
Yeah.
See, because they better thieves. Yeah. Because we done everything. Oh yeah, we did it. No. You just think all the Fortune 500 companies, all the ones, the companies that's above the Fortune 500 companies that they don't ever put down, like the Disneys and all the Rockefellers. Guess what? They got Jakes, they got Eve sitting right there with them because they need somebody to help them think, man, because they can't think of this stuff.
That's like when you talking about the what's his name, John Hanson.
John Hanson.
Yeah, when they had over here, and he was the one came over here, and they wouldn't have been able to set this country up without black folks. Then as soon as they get him, they set it up. As soon as it's all set up, kick him out. Put our name on them. Don't let them sign nothing. They got John Hancock name instead of John Hanson on the other constitution. Get rid of him. That's what they do with us all the time.
That was part of the scribes and Pharisees too of the modern days that people fail to realize. Because guess what? Those are believe it or not, no matter how you feel. Them our forefathers too. Yeah. And foremothers. The scribes and Pharisees are our forefathers and foremothers. So some of us still got the same.
And again, not all Pharisees and scribes were wicked. Because you remember what's name was a Pharisee too. Paul was a Pharisee. Remember, Nicodemus will humble himself down to come to Christ and spoke to him at night to get rid of away from the other ones that was wicked. He knew, man, I got some wicked colleagues. But go ahead. Where you at?
Verse 22.
Yeah, go ahead.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Yeah, all things which are written. We're gonna have to pay. This is the day we finna have to pay. This is gonna be the day, because we're gonna lose our land. It was prophesied before. We still ain't got it together. Still don't want to obey the commandment. So all this stuff got to be fulfilled. Go ahead.
Let me get a precept on that.
Go ahead.
Because Christ was pulling this from what we got in before that in Luke, but he also pulled it from the beginning in Deuteronomy 28, verse 52. Because each time we sin, guess what? The Most High put those curses on us.
I was gonna get to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Now we'll get to it later. We're gonna get to it, but we just remember that.
Read that again.
Yeah.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child.
That are what?
That are with child.
That are with child. And that go ahead.
And to them that give suck in those days.
See, people thinking that meant woe unto them that are with child, to them that get sucked. That's gonna slow the women behind. Now let's go to Leviticus 26 and 29. And see, what's his name? Love to pull this thing too. What was his name though? Polite. Yo, why would a God do this? No, why did the Israel do this to themselves by disobeying God's law, statutes, and commandments? Because it was already prophesied that, hey, if y'all don't obey, these things was gonna happen to us, man. He told them before we even got started as a nation of people.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 29.
Go up to verse 27.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 27. And if ye would not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you, also in fury.
See, now look, he's telling them what's finna happen, man.
Yeah,
he explaining it. Read.
And I, even I, will chastise you 7 times.
How many times we went into captivity?
Chastise you 7 times for your sins.
Yeah.
See, because like I was saying, that's what polite talking about. This now look, y'all. It says what's gonna happen. It's prophesied, man.
And he's saying, man, you would think that would scare you. If he prophesied some of this stuff and said this is gonna happen to you, you'd be like, man, what? No, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna obey these law, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Verse 29. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons.
What is that?
And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons.
That's why he was saying, woe to them that have such, your children you got. Whoa, he's saying, man, because this was gonna happen. Go ahead, read that. And
the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat.
And that's all I needed on that one. And you can get better yet. Look, history repeats itself, because this also happened to us in Babylon. And let's go to Lamentations. No, go to yours, Deuteronomy 28. 28, start at 50.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of the old.
They don't give a dang about these old folks. You going in the cotton field, you get killed too. We don't care. Go ahead.
Nor show favor to the young.
They don't give a dang about your children. They putting them in the cotton field. We'll kill them too.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed.
Until thou be the what?
Until thou be destroyed.
He gonna tear up Jerusalem. He gonna eat all that stuff y'all done got. He gonna eat all that. He taking all this stuff. Go ahead.
Which also shall leave not be either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thine kind.
He ain't gonna have nothing.
And all of them, that's right there goes into the tithing that they was bringing in. Was the oil,
storehouse, and everything. Yeah,
that's all the increase.
Took all the Levite stuff. Go ahead.
Or flocks of thy sheep until he have destroyed thee. Verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates.
He shall do what?
And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fixed walls come down.
Because you're gonna realize this was not an easy battle just for the Greco-Romans.
Mm-hmm.
Jerusalem was a nicely fortified city. It wasn't just walk in the park.
Mm-hmm.
They had to go get a whole lot of people. In fact, the Grecos and the Romans had to get together to do this because they just seen what happened during the Maccabean period.
Mm-hmm.
They just seen that these little old few dudes was tearing the whole Greeks up. So they had to come together, even though they was all the same nation anyway, just declaring themselves different. That one white man trying to be better than the other white man. The same thing happened here in America today. Go ahead.
Wherein thou trusted throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God had given thee.
And like I can bring it out, like that wall that they had, man. Look, man, that was our first line of defense, man.
Exactly.
And if you like the gates, like our gates right now to this day, our gates are language. We ain't got no gates. We got no defense, man.
No defense. Keep reading that.
Verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
They should do what?
Thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
Same thing that they were talking about when we was over in Leviticus. Same thing they talk about this is in Deuteronomy, and in the imitation during the Babylonian days, it was talking about that at the same time too. So when it was prophesied, it wasn't just prophesied just for this captivity. It was prophesied for every captivity y'all gonna go into.
Yes.
7, like he said, 7 captivities. 7 times. Go ahead.
The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God had given thee in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. So a lot of times brothers say that they were just being cannibals. No, they had to do that because they was being starved out.
And we're gonna get to that too.
You want me to keep reading?
Yes, go ahead.
54.
We're gonna go to 57. All right.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
See, these things were gonna happen to us. These things, that's why we got to get out of it now. People saying that, oh man, I just seen a dude, man, I hate y'all, like, but you calling yourself Israel. Then I know he don't do the law. He just told the brother on the thing he hated him because he disagreed with what he said on Facebook. I hate you. That dude, boy, they tore him up. Because I know you're not in the spirit. And I know some of these people don't even be Israel, period. Because the first thing they do is jump right out. I mean, some little bit of thing he don't agree with me. I hate it. I'm out the spirit. That's all it took. On Facebook? For you to leave the Most High that quick? Come on, man.
And see, like I was saying, man, look, they did this. This was a type of thing. Like you'll read that thinking they only did that once. No, they did that a lot of times, man. Even in Samaria, man, the same thing. When you go into 2 Kings in the 28th chapter, it shows you the same thing. And they were eating and boiling their children.
Exactly. And not only that, each captivity, when they was dividing and conquering through every last one of them, they was getting the ones, who trusted in oppression. Guess what? They had them go against the ones who want to stay with the laws. They did this in every last one of them. It's not, they was, and what's so bad about it, they knew history too. So they was learning like, okay, how do we defeat? It was every time it was a how do we defeat? That's why they always had a crafty council, because it was always how do we defeat these Israelites? Because they were the light of the world. They seen these things, and they seen a God behind them that's working for them throughout history. But they always had to have a plan on how can we defeat it. Go ahead.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
That's why your brothers hate you too. This is why. Go ahead.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children.
That's happening to us right now in America. That's why you got these families breaking up. I remember when black people didn't even get divorced. Now all of a sudden it's a common thing. Something even when I was going through, I didn't want no divorce. But at the same time, it's something she wanted. I didn't know what's going on. It blew my mind. But go ahead.
Toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Which he said what?
Which he shall leave.
Going on. And what did the Most High say? He said this stuff got to be fulfilled. All this stuff got to be fulfilled. There's got to be happen. Read.
Verse 55. So that he would not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat.
She shall what?
Whom he shall eat.
He shall eat. And you wonder why this. Now, to think about it, if I told you from the beginning, man, if you don't obey my laws and statutes and commandments, you're gonna wind up eating your children. That should make you right there be like, man, we better obey these laws. I don't even, I don't like kids. I don't like children. I don't eat that. You know what I'm saying? That just even that you be like, ugh. To think about that. And that didn't even stop us. Go ahead.
Verse 55, so that he would not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left him in the siege.
Yeah, because he ain't got nothing else to eat. You're gonna be starved out so bad that you're gonna eat your children.
And that's the reason why a chicken they eat them out. If you starve any animal out, that animal will eat anything.
Yes. That don't make the chicken unclean. Still, we ain't cannibals. But if you start, that's like what's that movie, Alive, when the people got stranded on that mountain. They ain't cannibals. But when it comes to surviving, you still got survival instincts. You gonna do what you can. Man, I gotta eat something. Otherwise, I'm finna die. Your body it goes into survival mode. So what do you think that's gonna happen? There ain't nothing to eat. They starved them out. They put a trench around them. Can't nobody get in, can't nobody get out. Ain't no goods going in, ain't no goods coming out. Once you finish whatever it is you eat in there, guess what? Ain't nothing else left to eat. So now when you look at that baby, it look like that cartoon. That baby look like a ham sandwich now. And that's what it looked like. I gotta eat. Even though they knew ham was against the law. Now that baby look like sometimes it look, you know how the cartoon, you look at it and it look like a big old piece of chicken. That's what it was looking like. You look at your baby, you sitting up there, got your baby, and you're like, man, it's a nice little loaf of bread I'm carrying right here.
And then even on the point, guess what? You didn't want your children to be suffering either.
Exactly.
They was
They were starving, and they was knocking out two birds in one stone. And they had, this is the things we don't know. A lot of stuff we don't even consider because we hadn't been in that situation. A lot of people be talking about, man, if I find out I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Then it happened to you, and then you like, that you didn't do nothing you said, because now you in that situation. Now you reacted different than what you thought. Go ahead.
And in the straightness wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
It said what?
Wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
They were doing it now, and they distressing us today. In all our gates. We can't get a break nowhere. We can't go to church no more because that's all messed up. We can't go to the courts. That's all messed up. There's distress everywhere. Go ahead.
Verse 56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for her delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom.
Now she all evil toward the husband of her bosom. That's the one that made it good for her. You know what I'm saying? He out there trying to work in the shoes. She can't stand him. I gotta go find me another nigga. I mean, this going on today.
And see,
it's fulfilled in all seven, everything that we went through, all seven major captivities.
Even right now, we got to understand in this present day, the Most High God is still spoiling us, man. You got to understand, if we literally if we go through this right here, what we read right now, or if we going through, it's safe for us, we got to eat our children right now. Everybody that had wanted to open their mouth to say something, or want to change rules, or want to keep bringing all this different stuff. Everybody that opened their mouth would be shutting up, trying to find some food, man, and trying to figure out how to live. But the Most High God, guess what? We building up the nation and we prophesied to the world. But just imagine we had to do that right now, this present day and time. it wouldn't be good for us,
I'm
man.
gonna have to correct him. He's not spoiling us because he said you spare the rod, you spoil the child.
And I understand it.
And he's not sparing that rod on.
No, I ain't saying like he's sparing the rod, but the action that I'm saying, we not presently going into eating. If we physically right now to my present day eating our child right now, it would be different. It wouldn't nobody will open their mouth to say anything. Guess what? These women they'll learn how to get in the order fast. These men learn how. Nobody want to move. Nobody want to. Everybody want to stay. Oh, I know more than he know. Damn. No, keep the commandments, man.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of this stuff, guess what? He is jacking up the northern tribe right now. That's why they're trying to get over here to America because a lot of them don't have no food, they don't have no money, have no means to take care of themselves. So guess what? They in survival mode, trying to come to the place where they see gold.
And they was comfortable at one point because they was comfortable in Mexico. Y'all don't understand. You go and do the history of Mexico. They was comfortable, and the United States, even way back then, was always sending somebody over there. When it was a leader come and give the money to the people and have a good land, they always send somebody over there. Guess what? Knock them off. That's right. Same thing they do today. In it, this is the wickedness of the people that he has sent against us. Ain't nobody gonna escape them curses. Now they realizing that. Because even in Brazil, they like, man, they going through turmoil in Brazil. Yes, they killing them in the streets just like they doing in America. We just not down there here. They've been doing it. Go watch the movie The City of the Gods. And you'll see what's going on down there. Same old thing. You run from the police, they even worse. That's right. They don't even get out the car. They run down, drive-bys on the dude. You done took off. You done stole a pack of bubble gum. Go steal it in Brazil. And to see once they be having a funeral up there right below that big old Caesar Borgia. I'm telling you, man, but go ahead, man.
Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. Like I said, y'all got to put yourself in their position. You know, we got armies around us being starved out. Hey, that's gonna cause some conflict in the house, man. Yeah. The wife mad at the husband because he can't give them food. The daughter at the children. Guess what? It's gonna cause a big conflict up in the house, man. All because we didn't keep the commandments. Go ahead.
And that's one thing I'm gonna have to apologize because I see what you're saying. We can be we spoiled in a bit but it ain't the Most High spoiling in the United States spoiling us because we ain't going through this. So they got us thinking everything is all right. We all equal because I'm letting you have a little few things. That's to keep your butt calm. So you won't revolt like the Haiti did in 1790. So they know if I we'll tear the country up we're doing problem when we're doing that stupid marching. Now, if you have us starved out the way we got to eat our babies, you think, all these gun shops, nigga ain't gonna buy guns. We're just gonna run a corporate and take the gun to go to war.
That's the reason why they having this Aborigine they having Aborigine march this weekend. What that's gonna solve, man? What are Aborigines gonna solve, man? Everybody still got all of them still got a different religion.
Yeah, they just keep coming up there. And, oh boy, that's what is that Psalm 64:4. We don't have to go there, but that's boy. That's terrible, man. Keep going, man.
It's a lot. Verse 57. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates.
Now, you know what? That's why Yahweh shall wept. Because he's seen that this was going to happen. This is going to happen. He said, till all this stuff be fulfilled, it's going to happen. But everybody up there pray, they up there, hey, praise the Most High. And he like, man,
y'all just don't know.
Y'all don't know. Y'all just don't know what's going to really be happening. All right, let me go to
read verse 58, man. You can't leave that one out.
Verse 58. And thou would not observe, if thou would not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed even great plagues of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance.
And that's what's going on with us right now. Sickle cell. Oh, no, the other nations don't even got this problem.
They don't. They don't.
Even the Hamites don't even have this problem. Israelites got that problem. I'm a carrier of sickle cell. My mother died from sickle cell. I know plenty. When I saw it, like all everybody I know that died from sickle cell, they're all black. This before I knew what was going on. Then I realized it's a black person disease. Why? Because this was already, we got to fulfill these prophecies. We got to fulfill them. Let's go to Hosea chapter 10. That was the same thing. I didn't need to go there. I'll just put that there.
The book of Hosea, chapter 10, and what you want?
Start at 1.
The book of Hosea, chapter 10, and verse 1. Israel is an empty vine.
It's a what?
Is an empty vine. He bringeth forth fruit unto himself, according to the multitude of his fruit. He had increased the altars.
He said Israel is an empty vine, meaning the people that's going to conquer us going to take it all. It's an empty vine. We was an olive tree. We the fruit of the world. But guess what? It's an empty vine now. Let's start over from there because it's talking about the people who are going to do it after that.
The book of Hosea, chapter 10 and verse 1. Israel is an empty vine. He bringeth forth fruit unto himself, according to the multitude of his fruit. He had increased the altars, according to the goodness of his land. They have made goodly images. And it's going into, guess what? They started going into idolatry. The same thing the northern tribe do today. Like we always say, worshiping the Santa Maria, Mother Mary, all these different idols, worshiping grows in the trees. You see them all the time riding around with it on their windshields, on their headlights, man, on the back of the pickup trucks, man. No, Issachar love driving them trucks, man.
And it's funny because I saw a dude on there who was getting mad. And in fact, that was on our video. Somebody left a comment. Man, y'all always saying that the Northern Kingdom had fell off. Man, the Northern Kingdom, y'all just as bad as we were. We ain't taking nothing about. We was wicked too, but y'all were wicked too. Otherwise, you still have your land. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the same situation that we oppressed together, just like the Bible says. You going through the same thing, probably worse than what we went through. You was built 127 years before we even did it. Before we went through it. So, yeah, y'all was doing some wickedness. Yeah, y'all was worshiping all kinds. Y'all was doing rain dances, having peace pipe conference, just weeded out, just like Negroes now today.
And some of y'all still doing it.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's why we bring those things up. We bring it up to make it relate to y'all, to let y'all know, guess what? Y'all are the northern tribe first and foremost, and y'all still doing some of that wickedness today, man. Lining up exactly with the scripture.
Exactly. Like you said. And I'll be seeing it like I look at it all the time. All the Puerto Ricans come here and don't want to do it, but they ain't got a Puerto Rican flag on them. What is you representing? Then you got the Mexicos coming over here, they got the Mexican flag on them. And I'm talking about they go and get $5,000 paint job and put a St. Mary on the front of the truck. This is what they do. And talking about, no, you was just as wicked as these Negroes that we were here in America, doing the same thing. That's why we all in the same thing together. And we try to tell you, boy, I don't even want to get in there. Let's just go ahead and keep reading.
Verse 2, their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. For now they shall say, we have no king, because we fear not the Lord. What then shall a king do to us?
And Solomon, we lost our kings. They were gone. That's why Yahweh's return is going to be our what? Our king. Because we done went without a king. We without land and we without a kingdom.
And that also hit home. That's why the northern tribe never had any righteous kings, man. They touching on this very same point. All the kings of the northern tribe was wicked as hell. You know, that's what he let us know. They had no leadership.
And that's why a lot of the northern kingdom, what was they doing? They was the one making deals with the white man, shaking his hand. Hey, yeah, let's get it. Get what? They took everything. Now we in captivity. They made deals all day long. Our chief, our chief, he chief such and such. He good, chief. Your chief just sold us out. Because they ain't our chiefs. What did it say? Our gates.
Our language.
Our language. All our gates. 10 tribes didn't get away with nothing. The northern kingdom didn't get away with nothing. The southern kingdom didn't get away with nothing. So let's quit bragging on these men because ain't none of them doing nothing right now.
And see, the thing is, everybody, and let's just make the thing clear. Look, all 12 tribes are Negro descent, but guess what? They mixed and mingles with the other nations.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that, man. They still of Negro descent.
Hold up, let's just read it right quick. Go over to 7 and 8. Let me touch on this real quick.
I knew you.
Hosea chapter 7, verse 8. It says, Ephraim, he had mixed himself among the people. That scripture right there is letting us know Ephraim mixed with all the nations, people. That's why they look the way they do today, man. Just like it's some light-skinned Judas that guess what? Guess what? It's some Judah-looking Israelites that's not even Israel, man. Like Mayor de Blasio's son. If you go and Google this brother look like he's straight Negro, but his bloodline is Israel. That's why we tell brother, it's not about what you look like, it's what's in your blood.
Yeah.
Let me read.
And hold on, because that's another thing. I heard them talking about, man, they arguing about light-skinned ones, and I'm like, man, I done seen some two dark people have some light-skinned. Hey, my daughter. Hey, she don't look like the rest of the other one, but ain't nothing mixed in this. It's the fact of the matter, she came out light-skinned. Even back then when in Egypt, it wasn't all those dark people, man. It was different shades of brown before the white man touched it and did anything.
Israel can make different spectrums of colors, man. And
the black woman is the only woman on the planet. The white woman cannot make a black baby. Guess what? A black woman can have a white child.
You see, they let you know that
a pale child.
They let you know that the seed and the soil is the best seed and soil in the world.
Exactly.
They let you know that.
Because I saw them in the shoe. I saw them come up, man, in the shoe. You remember that, y'all? Your flower look good, but then blam, it's purple. But then you go back and, oh, look at that purple now. That's that turquoise purple on that one right there. The black woman can do that. White woman just gonna have purple. If anything, you get dull.
Let me read that again. Hosea chapter 7, verse 8. Ephraim. Now, when it talks about Ephraim, Ephraim was the head tribe of the 10 tribes. Yes. So it's talking about all of them, and not just the tribe Ephraim.
And let me straighten this out. They say, oh, well, Judah and Issachar got the same, but guess what? Issachar is part of the northern tribe. So guess what? They're gonna be lighter complexion, just like the rest of the northern tribe. Simple as that. They're gonna be different colors, just like them too. So don't try to get this thing twisted. Yeah, they came from the same mother. Guess what? And the same Issachar and Judah came from the same mother and father. But guess what? Issachar is part of the northern tribe, and Judah is part of the southern tribe. Exactly. And it, like I'm finna bring out, Ephraim had mixed with the other nations. Go and read that up.
Ephraim had mixed himself amongst the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. This is a parable, similar to comparing Ephraim to a pancake. If you don't flip a cake over, guess what? It'll be light on one side and it'll be dark on the other. They come from a very light to a very dark.
That's right.
And that happened right when during the split when you had the Southern Kingdom at that time. This right before the split had happened. You remember the Northern Kingdom had better trade routes than the Southern Kingdom. So on their trade routes, they were introduced to more people than the Southern Kingdom. We was down here. We always just was there, all these right here together. But they were always introducing themselves to all these other nations because the best trade routes through that was in the Northern Kingdom. So even back then, they had already been taking customs from the other nations, messing with the other nations. And then they decided what do you think they did after when we totally split? They said, damn, all the commandments and went totally opposite and went to all of the Gentile ways.
You know,
So they were just doing, so if it was in the commandments to do, guess what? They didn't do it because they was so jealous of what's name, Judah doing it, we ain't doing it. Same thing today. Same thing.
You had some more?
No, you have broke it down.
And that's the key, like we said, all Israel ain't gonna look like Wesley Snipes, man. We got to come up out of that, man. Thinking that everybody just got to be darker, look like Sidney Poitier, man. We come from different spectrums, man.
Yeah.
I got light-skinned children up in here, man. Come on, we got to stop that, man. Some of the brothers just pushing that. It's light-skinned they self, man.
Yeah, and that's like, man, I had a dude, man, he was sitting together. I don't even want to bring the dude name up, but brother said up there, man, and said out of nowhere, yeah, Jeremiah, you might be gad. No, because, you know, me and him, talk about me and the other guy, we look like Judah. I'm thinking, man, show me a picture of my 4 or 5. Let me see him. Let me see if I look like him. Goddamn, apparently you must got a picture of him. But that's what he said. But you look like Gad. I'm like, well, what Gad look like?
Yes, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Jeremiah was like, boy, look at that started. I was hoping they didn't get that bad in that car.
Let me read verse 9 too. It says, strangers have devoured his strength. Now, this is talking about the strangers of the other nations. Your strength is your sperm. They done devoured that, man. That means they watered it down. Lightened it up, they nation. It says, strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, gray hairs are here, and they're upon him, yet he knoweth it not, man.
You know what gray hairs are? Gray hair is supposed to be the wisdom. See, but they know it is not. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
And they don't know it's gone. It's been happening for a long time.
Exactly.
Because it's gray hairs. He don't even know he's getting old. He don't know this been old. This old news that's been going on. It'll be a long time. Shoot, hold on. God dang it. What happened to Joyce? You know, Joyce's kids, because they've been going out. They don't even know it. They don't even see it's happening in front of their faces and don't realize it. They don't see that the enemy is planting terrors and not only just terror, because you had men. See, everybody think the men were just only one running around and jumping with the women. No. These men was taking on Gentile wives.
Exactly, man. And that's a key point I'm glad you brought up. It goes both ways when you are mixing. Like they thinking the white man's sperm is just so dominant that he just gonna whiten up everybody. They did not rape everybody. And let's just say, even if they did, guess what? They were still having babies, man, because they needed slaves, Israel. We got to come up out of this simple-minded thinking, man.
And not only that, they had breeding grounds for the slaves.
Exactly.
Oh, these were buck slaves. They was calling them the Mandinka.
Yeah.
Hold on, man. Let me get them together. Because they know if I mix mine with these Mandinkas, I'm not gonna get to produce the product to go out and work. Or I'm not gonna get the fighting kind that I need. Because some of them make money fighting them. They know darn well. No. Do not mix in with that one. I need him mixed with this because these mice, they breeding us. They had some they sitting up in the house. But them ones in that field, they breeding them with Sue. Y'all, you have baby with this one.
Okay. That's case in point. Look, they still do the same thing, man. In the same aspect, we don't see it. Just you look at all those NBA players. Look at all those NFL players. Look at all those tennis players. They breed them. They might not be breeding the way that they breeding then, but they still breeding them, man. Look at Serena Williams, man.
Exactly.
Oh, we want us a great man too. Look how great Serena is. We want something great too. So guess what they do? They send the Edomite over, okay, man.
They water that down. They ain't making no more gonna win no tennis no more.
We need that.
Oh, they said no. Water that down. Because otherwise, shoot, the French Open gonna look like the Israelite Open.
Right.
And they ain't finna have it. So they thought that was our sport. That was their sport till Serena and them did that. Every time that was our thing. Then They got into it. Oh, shoot. Send some, God dang it. Send some of them over there. We got to water that down. This is our thing. That's like golf. That's why they're sending a million goddamn white women to Tiger Woods. Man, no, can't have that. That's our sport. Even though golf, man, boy, I can show you. We're going to go into history of that one day. But let's go to John chapter 4. We got to move on. We ain't got to read yet.
The book of John, chapter 4 and verse 1.
No. Start at 19. Salaki.
The book of John, chapter 4 and verse 19. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain.
So this woman is talking. She's from the northern kingdom because she's talking about her father. Go ahead.
Our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Verse 21. Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe on me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father.
No, this finna be neither one of us gonna be here. Ain't gonna be none of us here. But see, at this time, he's not letting them know that he's only right now. Yahushua came for the southern kingdom. He sent Paul back for the northern kingdom. So when he's talking to her, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's talking about, go ahead with this next one, because it's
verse 21. Jesus said unto her, verse 22, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
See, they know that they worship Yahushua right now. And like right now, we didn't know who we worship. We just now found out we were worshiping Caesar Borgia and a rock. And now that same thing, man, look, go ahead, read that again.
Verse 22, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
And he's telling them salvation is of the Jews. It's going to be time when we're going to be delivered out of the hands of our enemies for the Jews. Saved from our enemies. But it's the time and the hour where we ain't going to be worshiping in this mountain. This ain't going to be nothing for us. It ain't going to be no place where we at. Go ahead.
Verse 23, but the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Go ahead.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
He said it's going to be an hour where they're going to be worshiping him in spirit and in truth. The spirit, we're going to go back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. And we're going to be worshiping in truth. And we go get those precepts too, but we're going to come back to him in truth. We're going to know the truth, which we read John 8:32. And the truth will set us free. We just not doing that now. That all this, man, y'all don't see these prophecies was happening way back then, just not coming up today. You now waking up. Oh, I know the truth now. Now I know to go back to these law, statutes, and commandments. Get in the spirit now.
And that mountain they was on Mount Gerizim. Gerizim, Mount Gerizim. That's what the Yahushua was talking to the lady, the Samaritan lady.
Okay, let's go to Matthew chapter 23, verse 37.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings?
He said, even though you stoning, he said, y'all stone them and kill them. Y'all gonna have to go through this stuff, but I'm gonna gather y'all back together. Go ahead.
And you would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
And it's left desolate. Guess what? It's still desolate now. Just because you got people living in our land don't make it, they ain't the right people. That land is not working right. See, the land work when the people get back in it. That's why you got deserts still out there in places that used to bloom and blossom all the time. That's why right now they having all kind of problems. And see, they don't tell you this what's going on in Jerusalem.
You have to research, people have to.
They don't tell you all the stuff that's going on. When they got to go all outside of their nation to bring in exports in order for that city to survive.
Or staying at the hospital because they can't get rid of skin cancer.
Exactly.
You know.
Why do you think the United States got to send them all that money? Because it taking them so much to even run that country. Because it's not their land. We get over there, we probably pay $2. They got to pay $2 billion for something that we ain't paying nothing for. Because it works with us, not them.
And they got to keep doing it to keep the lie up, man.
Got to.
They got to keep paying for the lie, man.
And that's exactly what it is. They got to pay for the lie. They done went so far, they can't go back. Go ahead.
Verse 38, behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. When Yahweh shall leave, he ain't coming back to, we don't see him today. We in the spirit with him, but we don't see him today. Let's go to just there, we'll stay on the same book, 24, go to 3.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, what shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
He said, man, look, after all this stuff, take heed that no man deceive you, man. Because a lot of stuff gonna come on, and they want to know, well, when is the end gonna be? He let you know, man, look, there's gonna be a whole lot of people out here trying to deceive you. Because he know what's gonna become of us.
Because he telling the prophets in the last days, because he know the prophets gonna be waking up in the last day. Look, man, I can't be there with y'all, so I'm telling y'all right now, don't let nobody deceive you, man.
Man, we did, because we was all working at Caesar Borgia for a minute.
Yeah.
Now we done woke up. It's hard for deceivers now. You bring that to us. I don't think ain't nothing you can tell me to make you go back to that. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
Caesar Borgia, and there's another one that came out to him, which they recopied the picture off of. I'm gonna get that information too. But it's another dude that they came later on that they also copied the picture off of, which looked just like Caesar Borgia. They just looking at any man look like that, just like we do all the time. We used to sit up there and he looked like Jesus. Now he looked like Caesar Borgia. He don't look like the Yahweh Shah of the Bible, but he looked like Caesar Borgia.
We seen the dude the other day. Walk through the grocery store. He look just like Caesar Borgia.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I started putting the dip.
And shall deceive many. Verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
And we get that right now.
See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Oh, it ain't yet. It ain't all that stuff gonna happen, but the end ain't here yet. That ain't the end. All that stuff gotta come before the end. Go ahead.
For nation shall rise against nation.
And we about to get into that right now.
And kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places.
That's why y'all got to be prepared, because all this stuff right there, it's already going on. We ain't trying to wait for it. Well, I'm going to watch. No, it's already happening.
Exactly.
If you don't see it, you ain't watching. You done missed it. You that dog that just sitting there with the shoe. The burglar gone. You jump up and tell master, they took your TV. Why didn't you tell me when they was taking it? Yeah, man, go ahead.
Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrow. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you.
They killing us right now. So don't be getting relaxed and thinking this might be so long far in the future. And this could go down tomorrow. Because a lot of this stuff already done gone. Everybody talking about, well, I'm gonna wait. No. You ain't got time to wait. All this stuff is going on now. Read.
And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
They hate us to this day. Because now we turning out, we telling them who Yahweh Shah is. We telling the truth to this Bible. They can't stand us. Hell, our own people can't stand us. Our mamas can't stand us. Our daddies can't stand us. Boy, that boy gone crazy. He told me not to celebrate my birthday. I'll be damn. Be ready. Don't eat, boy, on Thanksgiving when they eat them wicked holiday, they talking about you. Because you ain't there. So that nigga, he going crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Pass me the goddamn ham. So I'm telling you.
Man, second Ezra prophesied the same thing what I'm reading right now, man.
Go to that.
Let me get second Ezra chapter 15 right quick. We'll start at verse 4.
The book of second Ezra, chapter 15.
Matter of fact, go up to verse 3.
Chapter 15 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Fear not the imaginations against thee.
Mm-hmm.
Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee.
See, you could look like I say, they all our mother and father. Oh, they crazy. Look at them crazy Negroes, man. Look, read.
That incredulity means unbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
Mm-hmm.
For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
Read.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world.
That's what he's doing right now, man. That's what he's been doing, man, for us. Read.
Yeah.
The sword,
Mm-hmm.
famine,
Mm-hmm.
death, and destruction.
Read on.
For wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
And that's what's going on right now, man. Wickedness is polluting the whole dang on earth, man. Read.
And their hurtful works are fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore saith the Lord.
That's all.
That's all on it. That's
That's
going into the same thing. Second Ezra is prophesying the same thing. Look, that's what we do. We go into our books and we tell the same thing our forefathers said, the same thing we saying right now to this day. Look, hey, this is what the Lord says is finna happen, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening, man, in front of the whole world, man.
Let's go to Hosea 3 and 4 right quick.
The book of Hosea, chapter 3 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim.
And that's what we're going through right now. We survive without a homeland, no temple to praise in, no none of that. This is the things that's happened to us. But let's go to Deuteronomy 28, 65. And we're gonna get into the other book.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind.
Oh man, keep going.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Man, and that's what we're doing right over here in America today. It says, we hoping tomorrow that will hurry up and come, so we don't have to fear what's going on today. Because of the fact that the matter is, you hoping tomorrow hurry up and come because the day been so bad at work. I don't even know if I made enough money to pay my bills next week, or what. And then when the next day comes, you waiting on the next day because this didn't pan out that good neither.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go ahead and
let me say something on that. He said the last part, and shall have none assurance of thy life. And that's one of the America's biggest things. They want to sell you insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The word said assurance, but now they want to sell you insurance. Man, I can fix it, everything, man. Anything go wrong with you, this insurance right here will help your life.
On your phone, on your commercial. That's what they telling you. Hey, we gonna kill you. You better get some insurance for your kids ain't gonna have nothing. And we be hard headed. We don't be getting no insurance, boy. And then we be getting $5,000 and got 12 kids fighting over that. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. But let's go to the book, man. Go ahead and show them that book again. This is what we're gonna be reading out of. It's the Holman's Bible Atlas. Just give me your references so you don't just think we getting it anywhere. But the reason I went through everything I went through, because when you hear that, you'll see this is true. This is real history. Read that. Start there.
This is the Bible Atlas, page 124.
No, yeah, no. Actually, 258.
258.
Yeah, that just.
Oh, okay. Page 258, Salah. The first Jewish revolt. After decades of Roman rule, Jewish nationalism spilled over into open rebellion against Rome in AD 66. This first Jewish revolt against Rome had disastrous consequences for the Jews and Palestine. It also afflicted the Christian movement because of the loss of influence of the Jerusalem church. Jewish unrest was deeply rooted in the long Roman occupation of their land.
Man, this is all what we was just going through. They ain't got no unrest. Same curses upon them in the Roman time. Same like a lot of us feel sometimes. Man, I wish we just stand up and go against America. Because stuff just hard for us, man. Even when you think you got a good job, be like, yeah, I got a new job. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, they raise the price up on everything. Then you like, shoot, now my job just like it was before. And then Lord forbid the ones that didn't even get that good job, they still got to go through the same struggle, and the prices are higher. So that means they're going to struggle more.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
But several events precipitated a crisis. When the procurator Josephus Florus confiscated 17 talents from the Jerusalem temple treasury, the Jews violently resisted.
They mad in the mud. How you gonna come up in here and take some money up out the treasury, man? Hold on. We ain't got no money as it is. Y'all got every dang on thing. Y'all done ate all the grapes, took the soil, and then you want to come, nigga, if y'all don't get up out of here. This is what the Most High is getting us prepared for. A time to rise up, to be his battle axes. Because we got to get that mindset. I remember one dude said this, boy, he said, in fact, David Banner said that. And that's one thing I did like when he said, man, I'm not worried about white people being racist. He said, what the problem is, black people not racist enough.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to stand up for our people. We'll go fight for them against us before we do it stuff for ourselves.
You see, because every nation teach their children to be racist except us. We was taught to love everybody. Because why was we taught to love everybody? Everybody else want to talk to them.
And the word racist is loving your own nation. So why would I be mad at the white man for loving this nation? He's supposed to.
That's right.
Only reason I don't like him because he mad because I want to stand up for my own nation. Now you want to cuss me out because I want to do what you're doing. But that I want you to love us too. I don't want you loving yourself like that. That's the problem with him. But him being racist, he's supposed to be. Chinese should be too. What they do anyway. It's just that they don't want us doing it. Go ahead.
Riots broke out between Jews and Gentiles in Caesarea Maritima over a long simmering dispute concerning citizenship, recently decided by Nero in favor of the Gentiles.
And I'm glad they talking about citizenship because see, all this was mine. They don't even want to be no part of it no more. And that's what they were talking about all this when we talking about the Gentiles. Because they tripping off citizenship. Because when you was a Roman citizen, what you got was perks, income tax return, stuff like that.
Passports.
All that. They were doing the same thing. In fact, for every Roman citizen, every year or every certain amount of period of time, you got grain for every Roman citizen. These were the things for you becoming a citizen of Rome. Perks. Just like the United States. Believe me, if it wasn't no perks, don't nobody want to come over here. Wouldn't be wanting to come over here. They come over here because they got the perks. Let me get a citizenship. Same thing that was going on in Rome. Breathe.
Many Jews died in Caesarea, and the riot spread to other cities where similar tensions led to bloodshed.
Man, look, they got mad and everything. But one thing they didn't consider, why they in the situation they in. It's one thing we don't consider. Why we in the situation that we in. Why we run out there and march and everything. But if we just consider why the situation we in, we'll come out of that mess. And that's because We disobeyed God's law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
In June 66 AD, the daily sacrifices offered in Jerusalem on behalf of the emperor and the Roman people ceased by order of Eleazar, captain of the temple. This action signaled open rebellion against Rome.
And look what it took. See, the Most High know what he's doing too. Don't think that he ain't got this calculated what's going on. Because he just sent you a savior that just told you they ain't got to make sacrifices no more. They still making sacrifices. In order to stop that, he sent the enemy to stop that. Go ahead.
The opposing armies, recognizing the seriousness of the situation, Cestus Gallus, the Roman legate of Syria, marched south with the 12th Legion for Timonata, the Thundering One, and assorted cavalry and infantry units. He took the coastal route to Caesarea, then to Jerusalem via Antiparis, Lydia, and Beth Horon. Despite some initial success penetrating the city's defense, he could not retake Jerusalem and shortly withdrew.
That was the first thing they did. They came out there when they was in rebellion, and they came with their little army saying, yeah, we take this down right now. Then they realized these Negroes not having it. But it's not as easy. They thought they were just going to go in there and stop this rebellion right now. So they were like, shoot, let's go. Because here is not playing. Read.
When Roman troops suffered a serious defeat at Beth Horon at the hands of Jewish zealots, the victory gave the Jewish insurgents confidence. The rebels organized resistance into 7 districts.
See, now think about it. The Romans run the world. They conquered everybody. They weren't having no problem. You got in the Romans' way, they stomped you. They had armies huge. And they thought this was a little Judah, Jerusalem. Man, we take that in a minute. They getting out of line. Let's go down there and straighten that out. I got it. Went down there and got their butt kicked. Realized, damn, man, they come back with 2 dudes left. Yeah, man. God damn, them songs going down. They ain't playing season. So, man, season them like, man, hold on. Wait a minute. That was some of my best legions, some of my best army people, man. Let me load up. Read.
The Jewish historian Flavius Josephus commanded the Jewish forces in Galilee. Many cities of mixed population refused to join the revolt. Moreover, aristocratic Jews.
Hold on. Read that again. Many what?
Many cities of mixed population refused to join the revolt.
Oh boy, that same thing gonna happen right here. The ones live out in the suburbs, sitting out there thinking that they got it out there in Frisco and all these little area, Grand Prairie. I'm doing it. They ain't gonna want to be in this revolt when we decide to stand up and go against this our oppressor. Same thing they were doing. No, I got it too good right here. They ain't doing us wrong. House niggas. House niggas. Why y'all want to get away? Master treat us good. Read.
Many cities of mixed population refused to join the revolt. Moreover, aristocratic Jews such as Agrippa II tried to prevent an open rebellion.
See, even some of the leaders. No, man, no, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? Scary in the mud. Then you got some Negroes ready to get down. You know what I'm saying? Squash that. He's like, no. Oh, go ahead.
But to no avail. Fractions quickly.
To know what?
But to no avail.
No, he couldn't stop it. See, it had to go down. See, he don't even realize, and he's supposed to be a leader, right? He don't even realize the Most High did not already prophesied this. But a leader that's blind, they don't see it. Read.
But to no avail. Fractions quickly appeared in the leadership of the revolt because leaders operated with different motives and goals.
Ain't none of them on the same accord. The Most High and the Romans did this at a perfect time. Ain't none of them on the same accord. Hey, you know what? We just want to take this little piece. We want to take all this land back. We want to do this. We want to do that. All these different, everyone got a whole different agenda. That's what's happening right now in Israel right now. You got all these different camps, got so many different agendas.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, I ain't worried about it because I know the Most High control this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to straighten it all back out. We'll get to that later. Go ahead.
These fractions undermined the effectiveness of resistance and led to bloody infighting among the Jews.
They fighting right now. Look on Facebook. They fighting on Facebook. Fighting on YouTube. Had a dude out there ready to shoot us last week.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
Nero sent the 57-year-old Vespasian to put down the insurrection. The Flavian dynasty, a man of great military experience, Vespasian met his son Titus at Ptolemais and assembled an army of approximately 60,000 men composed of 3 legions, auxiliary
60,000 soldiers. That he done met his son. His son is a military man. He a military man. They met in Ptolemy. Hey, bring your people. I'm gonna bring mine. We got 60,000 men. We're in this thing. What's name couldn't do it. He done took all running. We got it. We got to go ahead.
And assorted royal troops. Titus brought with him the 15th Legion.
The royal troops, y'all know that's like the Green Beret. That's a special unit.
Mm-hmm.
Assassins. Go ahead.
Bloody fighting. Thousands of Jews died at Gamala, both in battle and by suicide.
So they committed suicide. Them was taken quickly coming up and just boom, running them over. Go ahead.
Salak.
Yeah, should have straight down.
Yeah. Apollinaris from Alexandria, while the 5th Legion, Macedonia, and the 10th Legion, Forentus, arrived in Syria. Throughout the later campaigns, elements from other legions, 22nd Deotarian and the 3rd Cyrenissa, plus the 12th Futima, participated in putting down the revolt.
And look, these are all elite of different parts of Roman Empire. They were sending the elite. The elite. I was looking up some of the names. I was like, boy, they special forces. Yeah, the Green Beret. What's the ones in the military? In the Army, Navy SEALs. You had then whatever they got in the Air Force, whatever they do. And what's the other group? The Marines. They got what? Red Berets there, huh? And they got special forces. These are all the top, man. Hold on.
And Delta Force.
Yeah, Delta Force. They got all these. Yeah, I think that's Air Force, ain't it? Yeah. And they got all these coming out. Go ahead.
This enormous concentration of Roman forces in Palestine and Syria represented almost 1/4 of the 26 legions available to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
The campaign in Galilee. Vespasian campaigned against Galilee in spring 67 AD. Although the towns and villages of Galilee were easily defended, Vespasian made short work conquering the region.
He made short work. He said they were easily defended, but he made short work of that. I got this. Hey, this misdemeanor. Go ahead.
So Porus, along with other cities, surrendered, unwilling to oppose Rome. Other more heavily fortified fortresses required siege. The defenders of Jopata fought to the death, although their commander Josephus saved his life by surrendering.
Yeah, he pumped out. That's Josephus. I take it probably the one who wrote the Josephus. Go ahead.
Zealots at treachery, Magdala resisted effectively for a time before being overwhelmed. East of the Sea of Galilee, Guamala was the scene of bloody fighting. Thousands of Jews died at Guamala, both in battle and by suicide.
They were like, hey, before they lose, they were taking, they said, let's squash this. I ain't going back under Roman captivity. Because they know what the Romans, how nasty they was, and you done rebelled against them. They know what they finna go through. They done been living there for a long time, knowing that they just persecuted the king in a horrible way.
In fact, let me get a precept. Matthew 23 and 30 right quick. We're gonna go right back. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. They was like, man, they didn't want to be a part of that, man. They didn't want to be a part of that. Read it up.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 30. And say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
Because that's what we saying now. Like, shoot, we were back there now. We've probably been putting out we ain't going up under that mess either, man.
Yep.
And we ain't gonna be partaking in the blood of the prophets either.
Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets.
Read on.
Fill ye up in the measure of your fathers.
See, because that's what's happening right now to us right now. We filling the measure of our forefathers because the slavery in right now. This is the measure that's got to be filled, man. Go ahead.
That early too. I had to
Mop up actions at Mount Tabor and Griscala ended with revolt in Galilee by late 67 AD. The Romans secured the coastal plain by taking key ports such as Joppa and Azotus. John of Griscala.
They took on this side. They took everything to the west. That's the coastal plain, which you got Ashdod, Askelton, which is all on the port, all the way up from the south on up to the north. So that way you can't escape on the water that way. That's where they lined up at. And if you notice, they said earlier, it said Syria. So they go up in north also. Go ahead.
John of Griscala, the zealot leader who bitterly opposed the tactics of Josephus, fled to Jerusalem to fight another day.
Yeah, so you got to understand, at this time we had different sects in Israel. That's where you got Sakari, the Essenes,
the
Zealots,
the
proselytes, the Pharisees and Sadducees. These was all different sects in Israel at the time. And the Zealots, yeah, at least that mother like said, I'll burn out. I'm gonna fight them again later. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't finna give up. Some of them didn't give up. We had some people say our nation is the same way it is today. I mean, it's the same today as it was back then. Same kind of people. Some of them stand bold, ready to fight. Some of them like, shoot, I'll fight again another day. Some of them I'll give up. I'm not even gonna do it. Some of them, nah, I don't even want to fight. You know, go ahead.
In 68 AD, Vespasian launched a campaign to isolate Jerusalem, moving south by the way of Wadi Farah, the Jezreel Valley. The Romans captured Perea and stationed the 10th Legion at Jericho. The 5th Legion moved unto the Sephalah and northern Idumea. Captured in northern Idumea.
That's on the south. That's on the south of them now. Go ahead. They surrounding them. Go ahead.
Capturing several cities before encamping at Emmaus.
Now you gotta understand this. What year is that? 67, right?
68.
68. Now, he told them when the Roman army had passed around, y'all need to go. Some of them didn't leave. A lot of us left, a lot of us stayed. It was plenty of us. So a lot of them had already been burned out. They done went through our demon. They going on over to Egypt and going to settle down. See, they should have just obeyed the Most High, and they'd have went there and there wouldn't have been nobody there. You know what I'm saying? No, nothing. All the stuff would have been gone, everything. You know, they ran through the gate. Ran in there like it just. I hear is crickets. Yeah, ain't where everybody go. But nah, we had some stubborn, hard-headed cats. Still, we didn't need. All we had to do was listen to what the Yahweh said, and we'd been out of there with a lot of our treasures and everything. Go ahead.
These movements set the stage for an assault on Jerusalem that was interpreted by events in Rome. And this is given the history and complete. It's going through it step by step to lead up to all those 5 years.
Yeah,
you know, it takes time to surround cities, to get supplies, to get troops, to get soldiers. All this is going into effect,
and it's going on for a while. So everybody just think it was just a 1 year thing. No. This was going on for a while. We were standing fighting. What remnant was left there? Because y'all gotta understand, a lot of them already fled. A lot of them took heed, but a lot of them didn't. A lot of them didn't. You had the poor that couldn't even go down there. They stayed. Then you had some of them just hard-headed. Hey, some of them just hard, hard. I'm hard. Nigga. I don't no goddamn Roman. You know who I am? I'm a little toot, nigga. You know what I'm saying? He stayed. Go ahead.
Unrest in Rome. In June 67 AD, Nero committed suicide after he was condemned to death by orders from the Senate.
Yeah, he's like, man, squash that, man. They were gonna kill me. They gonna hang me on one of them trees, and I gotta sit there for some days. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
During the next, Nero was the Caesar in Rome during that time. He was a wicked devil too.
Mm-hmm.
During the 12 months, a power struggle ensued in Rome for the imperial throne. Vespasian suspended plans to take Jerusalem, but Roman detachments continued to raid rebel centers in Emmaus and Jericho.
And that's what was going on. They was having struggle amongst themselves. Who was going to be emperor? Who was going to be what's name? That's what happened with our boy. When he tried to take power, they like, And then the court came and told him, man, we're going to sentence you to death. My mother like, shoot, he's just like the old punk white boy. I'm going to go kill myself and jump off the nearest building. And that's what he did. He's like, and especially, that's one thing, white people, when you got to get treated like black folk, that is one of the worst things that can happen to a white man. Like, you treat me like a black person. God dang, so you even know that we get treated bad. Go ahead, man.
Corbata, Gophana, Capharabus, and Hebron fell. 3 men, Galba, Otho, and Vitellius, vied for imperial power until the legions of the east proclaimed Vespasian emperor of Rome.
Yeah, they was all fighting. They were doing like, remember back when before David died, you know how it is. His brother was already trying to take crown. They doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. They like, man, hold on. But then the Senate got together and was like, nah, Vespasian is the ruler. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Vitellius retained the office of emperor until December 69 AD.
Yeah, he still held his office though, but he was there until he held his office until like what they do the presidential thing. You know what I'm saying? He done already won, but he held his office till the other come in and take over and do everything else. Go ahead.
When Vespasian's supporters gained control at Rome and executed Vitellius, Vespasian's broad support ended the threat of a Roman civil war.
Ain't nothing. See, so there won't be no split. He put him to death. That way, all these people gonna know now. Ain't gonna be no civil war. We can't have no civil war. We got a war with these guys doing. We gotta get these Jerusalems right here. We got to get these Israelites.
Exactly.
We can't have this civil war going on. They'll be really until they out. We done escape everything. Don't think the Most High didn't have control of that either. He's gonna stop that because I need y'all to take care of my business. Now quit the arguing. He'll tell him stop. Y'all quit arguing. God dang, I made y'all to go whoop my kids and here y'all up there whooping each other. No, Go ahead.
And permitted the legions to continue their work in Judea. The campaign of Titus against Jerusalem.
Hold on. Not kids, children, my bad. Go ahead.
The campaign of Titus against Jerusalem. Vespasian charged Titus with finishing the task of crushing the Jewish revolt.
He told his son, man, just go ahead and finish it up. I'm going to go ahead and sit on this throne from here on out. Before these other ones get out of line, you go ahead. I done taught you what I know. You know all the military stuff. You got enough people in the military. I send you as many men as you want. Go ahead and take care of your business. I'm going to go chill on the crown. Go ahead.
Titus assembled 2 legions at Caesarea and approached Jerusalem from the north.
2 how many? 2 what?
And he assembled 2 legions at Caesarea.
Man, 2 legions. Go ahead.
And approached Jerusalem from the north.
From the north. He approached Jerusalem from the north. Why? Because the north was their weakest wall up there on the north side. See, why y'all ever noticed that? Think about it. See, it was better trade routes up north. So, we kind of left a little weak like Canada right now. Hey, ain't nothing, but then they want to stop the stuff from the United States. Why do we have a fortified down south? What was south of us? Anybody know?
Who?
They was south of us, but no, they was south of us, but Edom. That's what I'm looking for. They was right at the south gate.
Right there.
That's why it's fortified like a sun gun and other. These old nasty sun gun. They like roaches. They just keep doing stuff, keep coming around. I could put raid at the gate. These mothers always find another hole in. That's what they were doing. So we had fortified the south. Our weakest point was in the north. Go ahead.
And when you going through the history, a lot of times go through the maps too, and
look at I love the maps.
Geological references too, and know what lands they are talking about.
Exactly.
You know, that's very important too.
And that way, when you sitting up there and you hearing south and you hearing they coming in from the north, now you know in your mind. Now, if you're looking at the map, you already know. Okay, they was in Syria. That mean they coming from down here going to here. That's why I love maps. They just show me exactly what's going on. Go ahead.
Vespasian charged Titus with finishing the task of crushing the Jewish revolt. Titus assembled 2 legions at Caesarea and approached Jerusalem from the north, where he linked up with the 10th Legion from Jericho and the 5th Legion from Emmaus. Though heavily fortified, Jerusalem was completely isolated by a Roman army.
So it's heavily fortified. But see, what they did is conquer everything around it and got everybody away from there. Now, there's no support. There's no food. When they mothers ain't going out, that's why they got to eat their babies. Because now we finna starve you out. Because that was their only tactic. They realizing this wasn't just no easy task. They looking like, well, God dang it, why is it so hard to get these? They still just they just revolted. They ain't even calling it a major war. They just ended. But then they realized this battle is harder than we thought. And then he had to go get other troops. His dad got, I'll send you whatever you need. Go ahead. So they don't even attack.
See, because
they said, man, we gonna, dig a trench around and say, man, stop them out, man. Because we don't win it. I'm losing a whole lot of men when I go up in there. I'm losing a lot of people. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Though heavily fortified, Jerusalem was completely isolated by a Roman army that may have totaled 80,000 men.
80,000 troops. Especially for back then, that's a lot. Read.
Several Jewish fractions occupied various strongholds within the city.
Hold on. Listen to what that word, Jewish what?
Several Jewish fractions.
That means it's fractions of army occupying these strongholds. So they wasn't battling a whole lot, but for some odd reason they looking like this is I got to get 80,000, and I'm just fighting little fractions of them and still having problems. Go ahead.
Occupied various strongholds within the city. John of Geskala commanded forces holding the temple and the Antonia fortresses, while Simon Begor held the upper city. Titus commanded the siege operations from his camp northwest of the city. Jerusalem's greatest vulnerability lay to the north.
Northwest. That's not in the Syria. That's off to the northwest side of it. That's if you go north on, what is the other one? Afghanistan and everything going in the other way.
Towards the east. Yes. We're talking about the west toward back by the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes, northwest area. Go ahead.
Titus commanded the siege operations from his camp northwest of the city. Jerusalem's greatest vulnerability lay to the north, where Titus concentrated his efforts. By late May, the first and second north walls had been breached.
They in and out of there, and they came into the north. They finally got into the city from the north wall. Go ahead.
In July, Titus ordered a siege wall erected around the city to prevent escape.
Yeah, now he done put the whole city. That's when he come up with what we read earlier, the trenches and everything around the city to prevent escape. What's left in here, we finna do. We got to get rid of this. Go ahead.
Starvation and fractional infighting took a deadly toll upon the besieged Jews.
Now they are starving and fighting on the inside. Now they're eating their babies.
Okay, but if you notice in this part, what's happening? They starving them out. Well, why are they not just going in there, killing everybody right now?
Exactly.
It wasn't happening that way.
It wasn't an easy battle.
It was not easy.
So everybody think it was just an easy battle. It wasn't no easy battle. So the Civil War in America, the worst one in America was what? 4 years. This was a little over 5 years. Go ahead. So it wasn't no short battle.
The Antonia fortress fell, and on August 6th, sacrifice ceased in the temple. On the 9th of Ab, August 28th AD 70, Roman troops torched the city. During the next month, both the lower and upper cities fell into Roman hands, despite bloody street fighting. By late September, the siege of Jerusalem ended in a complete Roman victory.
They finally took it over. Roman, go ahead.
Titus took captives the Jewish survivors and later paraded them along the vessels taken from the temple in an official triumph before the people of Rome. And you know that goes to today that a lot of times they show that they parade them through their city because it's a shame for people to be conquered, and they profaning and shaming you throughout the city, showing everybody that they got the glory and got the victory. It says Jewish prisoners were put to death in public spectacles celebrating the Roman victory, engraved on the Ark of Titus, standing in the Roman Forum today.
So don't be surprised because the Ku Klux Klan doing this. They've been doing this same stuff. It ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing to go down there and hang the dude and cut all his testicles off and all that stuff. They've been doing that. Same thing. Go ahead.
And that Roman spectacles, guess what? They bring it up in the arena. The gladiators.
The gladiators, yeah.
You know, they were slaves.
And then gave them all disadvantages in there. Let them get slaughtered. Go ahead.
Engraved on the Ark of Titus, standing in the Roman Forum today, are the spoils of war carried from Jerusalem by Roman soldiers, including the menorah and table of showbread looted from the temple.
That's when you see that picture, right? Yeah. That's what I was telling you.
And that's what those arcs. I know a lot of times, I wish we could pull it up. Those arcs that they build, those are monuments of conquest. Letting you know that each time they put that up, they done conquered mainly our people. You know, those arcs, those arcs with the square. Wish we could get a visual on that, man. But each time we see those things, that's a commemoration of us being conquered by them. It says final Jewish resistance. Jewish zealots held out in Judean desert fortresses despite the fall of Jerusalem. Machaerus and Herodium quickly fell to Roman forces commanded by the legit Lucius Bassus. Zealot defenders maintained their grim hold on Masada until 73 AD.
See, they was still in there even after. That's why I said some years after, even after 70 AD. So even though they were still fighting, even 70 AD, Roman and conquered everything. We got some people, we got some cats that go hard. Still fighting. Go ahead.
Flavius Silva, the Roman general, directed operations against Masada, during which massive siege ramp built by Jewish captives gave access to the top of the forge. As the end drew near, approximately 960 Jewish men, women, and children chose suicide rather than surrender to the Romans. Masada's fall signaled the end of Jewish armed resistance in Palestine for a time. But zealot sympathizers in the near future again would challenge Roman authority both in Palestine and beyond.
Is that it on that?
Yeah. I mean, no.
Go ahead.
Consequences of the Jewish revolt. The Jewish revolt affected Jews and Christians in several ways. The province of Judea assumed a new status in Roman administration under Vespasian. Henceforth, a Roman legate commanding Roman legions governed the territories independently of Syrian administration. Roman troops settled in Palestine and built new roads that facilitated troop movement and connected legionary posts. The Jewish population suffered greatly, both spiritually and physically. The temple and its sacrificial system were gone. Jerusalem lay in ruins and was occupied by portions of the 10th Legion. With no temple, the influence of the high priest and the Sadducees rapidly dissolved. Only the Pharisees survived the crisis. Reconstituting the Sanhedrin of Jamina shortly before 100
now they put in those old laws. Remember the laws that Yahweh was going in? They put them back in and they moved north. Go ahead.
Along Ishubas, Christians fled to Pella.
Pella's up northwest. It's just up north past Syria. to the west side. Now, this is where you started seeing, and if you go into history even more after that, that's where you start seeing the Christianity going into the lands of Japhet area at this time, up into the northern kingdom, where it's starting now. It's becoming to start to be a change in some of the stuff that was going on. Go ahead.
Before the destruction of Jerusalem ensued, Jerusalem, already affected by local persecutions of Christian leaders and famine, surrendered her leadership to churches in Antioch, Alexandria, and other Greco-Roman cities that became spokes, radiating the gospel into a larger Mediterranean world.
Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, the Christians, even at that time, already had different agenda than the Jews that themselves. They started persecuting the Jews. Same thing. What's going on today? The same thing, man. History repeats itself. It's the same thing. We don't make it. We don't the ones make it difficult, but that's what they did. Then they went on to a broader name. Jesus loved everybody. John 3:16 is talking about the whole world. This is the stuff that started happening. Now go to Babylon Timbuktu, page 84.
This is from Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Winston.
See what they did, like I was explaining, they turned our Bible and our laws into a free will type of law system that we no longer have the 5 sets of laws anymore. This is a free will. God loves everybody. Everybody can be a Jew, or the Jews, the real Jews, or the real Israel. All of them, they Gentile. Everybody Gentile now. No, they turned what the Lord gave us, our law, statutes, and commandments, into a free will type of religion. This is a religion. This is a free will. Anybody can be this. No, this is
and a lot of communities and a lot of the other nations, they love what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't like it because it was just the God of Israel, not God work. That's what they didn't like about it. Mm-hmm. So every time they got a hold of our books, they was using it like, man, this is the best thing, but we need to change a few things right here, change a few things right there, use some of this, take some of that out. They were doing it. Even Islam did the same thing later on when the Roman Catholics created that. Well, you use this part right here. We'll kind of just recite this, but then change this, change that, and change this, change that. Go ahead.
Page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
See, man, 1 million of them fled into Africa. It was more than millions of us. We was like the stars. We was like the stars of the heavens. Go ahead.
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery, the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves,
and they wasn't no white boys neither. So-called white men neither. They were black Jewish slaves. Read.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And that's what we doing to this day. Jump over to 90 right quick.
Page 90.
Drop down to the black Jews.
The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records.
So we took all that stuff with us. We was in Africa, so we had this stuff. Go ahead.
And written records with them. This assured them a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization. Because of the stability of the black Jewish culture, the Jews were not absorbed into autonomous population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes.
They wasn't going all out over the place. A lot of times they stayed together, but then they started But they were looking and getting at that. Man, they had the best culture in the world. And they started looking at these Africans running around here doing some stupid stuff.
Even in the time of the Maccabees, they did the same thing in their revolt. They were selling out the same way, man. Even right now, what you think all these churches doing? They selling out people out the same damn way.
The greatest people on the planet. No, I want to be like my oppressor. Go ahead.
In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. So a lot of times we saying that, guess what? Ham wanted to be amongst us, man, because they knew what a power was, man.
And
you know?
that's why when the Romans came looking for them, man, it wasn't nothing to go tell them, because we done took over their whole country. We running everything. We doing all of this stuff. And now all of a sudden, the Romans come looking for that. Them niggas are. That them Makatas are right there. Right there. Right there, right there, right there. They were pouring us out quick.
Yeah,
for some wine. See, ain't had no drink in a year or so, man. The goddamn, we had the price up too high. So all of a sudden now, they come and say, we're gonna give you some wine, show us where they at. Shoot, man, grab that bottle, said he right there. And they went on, got guns and all this stuff. It wasn't no problem. But it's funny because when we try to tell our people, y'all ain't them, now that's a problem. But it wasn't no problem for them to sell us out. That's a shame, man. It's crazy. You finish that?
The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were an industrious and skillful people. In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art, goldsmiths, leather workers.
Hold on. These are not Africans. These was us in their land. Taking out, and this is in the Ghana area, in the west part of Africa. We everything. The African man, and if they want to go, you got to go to us.
And just think, how do you think we built America? You know, we had skills, and they knew that. You know, they got the ones with the most skills and killed off the others. You know, and a lot of the time.
Just like I was bringing out, and that's what they doing right now to this day. They get the best engineers. Yeah, we're gonna get the best engineer. We're gonna build this bridge. Guess who they go get? Us. They don't go get that people. They go get us. They the face of it, but they go get us because guess what? That very well let you know that was us. We built everything. We have always done that, man.
And as soon as you done come up with the plans and build it, we knock you off, man. Take the plan and say we did it. That's what they did. Same thing African doing right now. As soon as we kicked out of Africa, they up there. We did that. Man, Negro, you ain't even know how to make another set of underwear. You got on a leaf. And talking about y'all did that. Shoot. We gave y'all underwear. We the one that let y'all know y'all was butt naked. We the ones say, hey, man, goddamn, put on some clothes, man. We the ones did that. Now all of a sudden, we leave out your country and y'all did everything. Man, come on. And you can't hold nothing right now. You got your own land and you can't hold no piece of land right now. The Japanese over there taking over your stuff now. The Chinese taking over your stuff now. And you welcome them in. Let us get our land back. We know now. We're going to go by these law, statutes, and commandments.
We learn. We continue to learn.
Bet you won't come and get nothing this time.
That's right.
So,
and that's an important part because like we tell brothers and sisters, that's why we're trying to wake brothers and sisters up. Because it's a simulation does a damage on our people. Let me read this right quick in page 123. It says the Hebrew religion is such that if you deny your religion, you will eventually deny your nationality. So our religion goes hand in hand with our nationality. It says the sociologists and psychologists know, and history has proven that if you deny your culture and nationality over a long period of time, you will totally forget it through a process of assimilation.
Oh, praise.
You know, that's why it's very important that we out there waking our people up, man. Because our people have been assimilated.
And furthermore on it, after you deny so long, then you teach your children, and it gets further and further and further away.
It's no longer, no more. Just like you said, Jeremiah, what, 16 and
17
and 4.
That's exactly what happened, man. That's exactly what happened. It's all prophesying. Most High said what? Well, all this stuff got to be fulfilled. All this got to go down. And it's gone down. And it's still going down. Go ahead.
Let's hit on that.
Let's hit on that, because, okay. Well, and I'm glad y'all saying that, because, see, the thing about it, we don't have to. All this, it's just the history of what happened to us. But let me give you some comforting words. Go to Jeremiah 30 and 3. Because we don't got to be in fear, even though this all happened to us, but it's always a recovery process.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 3. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people,
and he did.
Israel.
And that captivity is not talking about he gonna put us in captivity again. That right there is talking about bringing us out of captivity. Go ahead.
Of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, that I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it.
And we going back home, man. Let me get Isaiah 43 and 5.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 43 and verse 5. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south.
Yeah, North America, give up. Let my people go. Just like Moses had to tell Pharaoh. This is Most High saying to America, man, give up my people, man. North America. Yeah, they say in the Bible, boy, everybody try to make this like it's so. I guess the thing about it is you just got to be obeying these commandments. You can't see a lot of this stuff because you're not obeying the commandments.
That's right.
Read.
Keep not back. Bring my sons from far.
Bring them back. Give me my children.
And my daughters from the ends of the earth. Even everyone that is called by my name. For I have created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yea, I have made him.
That's us, Israel. And let me get Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 11.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse 11. For thus saith the Lord God, behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is amongst his sheep that are scattered.
Yes.
So will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in a cloudy and dark day.
All praise. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy God had driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice.
We're gonna remember this. We said we're gonna remember where we at in these other nations, amongst all nations. That don't mean everybody. I mean, just us gonna remember in those places where we at, scattered over those nations. Go ahead.
His voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That's
all I need. That's all I need. No, go ahead.
Then then the Lord thy God would turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee.
That means he's gonna return, bring us back out of it, not bring us to captivity. Go ahead.
And will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord thy God has scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from this will he fetch thee.
All praises. Let's go to Isaiah 49. It's gonna be my last precept. Then we're gonna get a law.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 1.
Verse 5. I'm sorry.
Verse 5. And now, saith the Lord, that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him, though Israel be not gathered, Yet shall I be glorious in his eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength.
Go ahead.
Verse 6, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
To the Gentiles. Go ahead.
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth.
He said a light to the Gentile. That don't mean he giving us to the light to the Gentile.
Exactly.
Meaning they're gonna see us, and they're gonna see that we've been saved. We got salvation until the end of the earth. That don't mean that they're gonna be coming into this time.
Exactly.
And the light also showing you, okay, what does the light do? Guess what? If you in a dark place, the light shows you which way to go. So we gonna be to the other nation, which way they supposed to live and how they gonna live and how they gonna cleave to that light.
And then even verse 7 clears it up. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel and his Holy One. Not any of the other nations that I had just brought out, man. The covenants is to Israel and for Israel. That's it. Go ahead, Art. You want me to read on?
No, that's good right there. And I just want y'all to know that just y'all got a little history on what went on, how the battle went on. I know sometimes a lot of people don't bring those things out, but we're gonna bring these out just so y'all can get the truth about what went on. And on top of that, when you're on Facebook, go to our YouTube page, subscribe to us. Give me Leviticus 19:15. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe to us. What we got? The GoFundMe page, man. If you support us, man, so we can get out to those other places. You know what I'm saying? We thank the people that have been supporting us. What you said? We got Facebook. What else we got?
Those that's on Periscope.
Periscope.
Subscribe to the Facebook page.
And what else?
YouTube page.
The Instagram thing, right?
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, we got it all, man. Go on all of it.
Subscribe.
Push thumbs up. We like it. Whatever it is they got for it. Put it down, and we got it. Yeah. Then we got to get all the laws like we said, after every class that we got, where everybody always talking about obey the laws, well, we got to bring you a law. You ain't no reason to tell you obey the laws. You don't know the law. So we bring out a law after every class, so that way y'all will be learning the laws after every class, at least learn a law at a time. We're gonna get Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15, and that's gonna be the law for today.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the persons of the mighty.
Man, you ain't gotta have respect for the poor or the ones of the mighty. You ain't gotta. Hey, I'm not gonna tell them because they ain't got nothing. Well, I'm not gonna tell him because he's a bishop or he's a captain. No. Go ahead.
But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
That's according to these laws. And on that note, we say shalom.
Shalom.